Okay, so what are the major differences in salary moving from Boston to Florida?
But when I was looking on Monster, this job offered, said the salary range was from $65 to $85,000.
Holy crap.
Me, I'm like, wow, that's way more than I was making at PTC. Obviously I had to go after it.
And then way more than you were making as a teacher.
Triple what I was making as a teacher. Of course I have to go after it. And, me, I see dollar signs, and I'm thinking, man, if I sell myself hard enough at this job, I can make $85,000, straight out of the gate. Obviously that was not the case. I've got 9 months experience. I managed to sell myself onto getting the job, and obviously when they offered me 65. One thing I can say is let them offer first and then counter. Always counter. I said, I'd like 70, not out of the range. And they ended up saying, well, we'll meet you halfway at $67.50.
That's awesome.
And me being, I actually said, well, how about 68? And they said, really? I said, yeah. They said, okay, fine. For the extra $500.
So you were excited to get 60, and you ended up with 68.
Yeah, exactly. Never be satisfied. Always be striving for more.
Mm-hmm.
And that was important for me. And especially because your bottom salary is going to be the basis for all your future bonuses.
That's true.
So don't let it make or break a job for you, especially in this economy. But don't be satisfied with the first offer either. Always counter, and if they say no, don't be afraid to come back to it, because I've been told no many a time, and I'm glad to have a job.
That's good. That's a good piece of advice.
Mm-hmm.
What's that been like being the youngest person in the engineering field, where time and experience is respect?
And that is one of the most difficult things you face on a day-to-day basis. Sure, internally you face, a little bit of struggle, but, positionally, you are the manager. If you're managing somebody older than you, you're the manager, it doesn't matter. But when you go in as a consultant, or you go in as someone who is supposed to be an industry expert, that's when you face a little bit of that age discrimination. And, you may come in and see a 50-year-old, man who's been, started on a drafting board.
Oh.
And, he's worked his way through. He used Pro Engineer when it came out, the day it came out. You're going to come in here and tell me how to work better? And you have to face that, and what you have to be is you have to be knowledgeable. And you have to respect their knowledge, but you have to be able to back up what you say. And, they may come in and they may look at you as some young whippersnapper that's going to, come in and try to tell them how to run their stuff. But if you can tell them and you can show them and you believe in what you say, they will follow, and you have to convince them. And those are your biggest opponents. If you can turn those guys, the rest of them will follow, because you know what? He's the most senior guy in that company. You know what? The rest of the engineers are following him.
How do you become more knowledgeable with less experience? How have you been able to do it?
Well, be an early adopter. Number one. Something new comes out, get on top of it. Understand what it is. Know every last thing about it, and do your homework. Secondly,
even after graduation?
Even after your graduation. Secondly, when you meet one of those guys, soak up every last thing that he says. Because every last thing that he says, if you can absorb that and regurgitate it to somebody else, that other person they've given you so much knowledge that you are now that much more knowledgeable.
You've just gained all those years of experience.
You've just gained all those years of experience. And I can't tell you the amount of times that I've taken a phrase or something that somebody's told me and been able to utilize that with another company, and they've given me a double take, like, how does he know that?
Wow.
And it's one of the most useful skills you can have, is being able to listen, hear, and maybe not regurgitate it, but be able to put into your own words an industry knowledge that only somebody who's been around the industry for 20, 30 years would even know.
Well, that's a great piece of advice. I think you answered all of my questions. I guess the only last thing is, so you've been in the field for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You're a project manager, which is, I think, pretty fast, but I guess paying your dues. And what piece of advice would you give us, our class, aspiring engineers, freshmen, sophomores, super sophomores?
I guess whether you're in a big company, whether you're in a small company, never ever say that's not my job. A boss never wants to hear that. You hear that, that means you're not a team player. You hear that, that means you're not willing to help the company out. And a company needs team players. They want people who are going to go the extra mile for them. And it's, you know, and that's one of the most important things, I mean, especially in a small company. You know, I mean, I do things that I know are other people's jobs. And the thing about it is that if you say that's not my job, you've made yourself look bad. If you go ahead and do that and they know it's somebody else's job, but you just did that, you made them look bad.
Wow. Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I'm sure the class will appreciate it. And hopefully we'll all be 5 years from now where you are today.
Hey, I'll be looking for you in the field.